Iowans know which candidates will appear on November's ballot, battling throughout the summer for your vote. Now, results from Iowa's primary elections yesterday surprised some voters, but so too did some voting laws and the effects of redistricting. Our team met voters at polling locations across the metro who showed up to vote only to find their polling place had changed. Local 5's Larissa Leone reports on the confusion and anger poll workers met.
After the 2022 Iowa primary election, Iowa's Secretary of State Paul says there were some big changes for voters this year.
We've had some changes with the redistricting, so it's going to take a little while for folks to get comfortable with the new sites. That's why we've been putting out the message early on about having a plan to vote successfully.
Polk County Auditor and Commissioner of Elections Jamie Fitzgerald says his office worked diligently to ensure voters were well notified of any precinct changes months prior to Tuesday's primary election.
By law, we contracted with the Secretary of State's office, sent every voter in Polk County a postcard saying, here's your location and here's the Voter Ready website.
Despite his and his colleagues' efforts, Fitzgerald says these big changes weren't clear to all Iowa voters.
So there is probably a case in Iowa where somebody went to the wrong location at the wrong time.
Fitzgerald says there was a lot of guidance needed at polling centers to help find the correct polling location for voters, but he says poll workers noticed redistricting changes weren't the only reasons some voters were thrown for a loop.
We had a lot of confusion, a lot of anger at the polling sites at times where people didn't want to declare a party. They wanted to participate in both the Democrat and Republican primaries. Under Iowa law, you have to pick one or the other, and so sometimes they picked one and then wanted to come back and pick another one. So it just doesn't work that way, unfortunately, under Iowa law.
Jamie Fitzgerald says this election was a good run-through before the November election. He is encouraging people to organize their voting plans before the leaves hit the ground.
Get those requests in August if you want to vote by mail. Voting will start in October.
Fitzgerald believes it was a positive voter turnout for yesterday evening. Polk County had over 61,000 people vote. Those results were a little bit less than those in 2020 during the pandemic. He notes he saw a lot of voters cast their ballots by absentee. This year's turnout was higher than in 2018. So good start, he believes, is due to a lot of legislative retirements and redistricting. As he says, open seats creates a lot of excitement to hit the polls. Larissa Leone, Local 5 News, We Are Iowa.